Let's talk about rock crawling for a second. Maybe it's just me, but I've always seen this as a positive outlet for reckless behavior. To think that you could go and invest large amounts of money into a vehicle just to take it out and beat the living piss out of it, I find that idea so fascinating. The idea that you can challenge your mind, body, and rig to the literal points of failure, go back and fix it, and do it again. And yeah, not everybody looks at it from that perspective, but let's be clear about one thing. If you go rock crawling for fun, you are built different. You know the kids that used to play outside growing up, riding their bikes, playing tag, jumping off roofs, scraping their knees and elbows? Those kids naturally make great off-road enthusiasts, and even more so, great rock crawlers. Because that's what we're doing as adults. We're playing outside with our friends. Rock crawling is a great hobby, but it's one of those hobbies that isn't for everybody. Now that all brings me to the trail that we're going to be featuring in today's video, and that trail is Big Bear's Gold Mountain. This trail is the perfect beginner rock crawling trail. It's simple enough that most mildly built vehicles can do it, but it's also just hard enough that you gotta pay attention. Because like any crawling trail out there, this trail can catch you off guard. Running this trail is the easiest way to test the waters of rock crawling and see if it's something that you're into. Now, interestingly enough, I recently put a reel out on Instagram and I asked, is Gold Mountain the best trail in Big Bear? And the comments, honestly, they didn't disappoint. I did a little bit of baiting and it worked. It's the usual dick flexing and elitism and, snobbery that you see in any hobby. And look, let's be clear, I'm not hating at all because, hey, a lot of these guys are my friends, I get it. I totally get it. The point I'm trying to make is that I bet you every single person out there that puts themselves under the rock crawler umbrella, they had to start somewhere. We've all been a beginner before, and being a beginner, you got to earn your stripes. And this trail makes beginners earn their stripes. I first took a stab at this one in 2018, clueless with a truck that I barely knew how to use. Over the years, I've taken part in some serious shit shows on this trail. Years later, here I am running this trail with the very same truck. So in today's video, we're going to be doing a feature on one of my favorite trails, Gold Mountain, the gatekeeper to rock crawling.
Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another episode of Dirtnation Offroad. So today we are out in Big Bear and we're going to be recording you guys a trail feature on one of my favorite off-road trails, and that is Gold Mountain. Now this trail is just a lot of fun. It's got everything you want. A little bit of crawling, a lot of scenic beauty. It's got nice views, right? Which goes along with scenic beauty. It's not incredibly long, and it's just a super cool trail. Now, Gold Mountain has an important history with Dirtnation. This has kind of been our stomping grounds for rock crawling for a long time. This is where we kind of learned to rock crawl and get used to these big old things scratching up our vehicles and kind of just getting used to what comes with hitting legit rock crawling trails. This trail really is the gatekeeper to rock crawling, right? If you want to know if you're going to enjoy these types of trails, this is the best one to do it, because it is a beginner rock crawling trail, but it's not an easy trail, right? It's a good balance of both, right? It's not that hard, but it has some obstacles on it that are mandatory, so it makes it a little bit challenging. So plan for today, like I said, we're gonna go through the trail. We're gonna talk about some of the cool things about the trail, maybe a little bit of the history. Maybe I'll show you some of our history and, kind of the cool runs that we've had here. We're gonna talk about a lot of stuff. It's gonna be a good time. Let's stop rambling. Let's get to it.
Now, this gatekeeper is relatively new to the trail, getting built back in 2020 during the COVID days. This is a man-made obstacle with the purpose of keeping out vehicles that may not be ready for the rest of the trail, because for years, people will go up this trail not knowing that it is a true rock crawling trail and get surprised when they reach the first obstacle. So this kind of helps mitigate some of that issue. At first, this gatekeeper was much more difficult as these rocks moved all around, creating big holes and just a little bit, more of a challenge than what you're seeing in this video, because a couple years ago they did cement this obstacle in place, adding a lock gate, making it easier, but now it is mandatory. As it sits now, it's not incredibly hard, but it is just hard enough to keep those unready people out. Now, some quick trivia and fun facts about the trail. Much like a lot of California, Gold Mountain and the Big Bear area as a whole has a rich history dating back to the California Gold Rush. This trail dates back to 1860 and was one of the many ways to get into Holcomb Valley. Now, I didn't know this until researching this video, but apparently there is an abandoned mine nearby. It's called Lucky Baldwin's Gold Mountain Doble Mine. I don't know if that's actually a thing. I was just doing a little bit of research, but apparently it's located on the northeast side of the mountain. I don't know if it's still accessible. Maybe somebody could comment below, but either way, cool little piece of trivia on this one. Now, the beginning parts of this trail is just going to be switchbacks. You're going to have a nice view of the lake, and you're just going to be scaling the mountain until you get towards the top. Now, once you get towards the top, you're going to have some crawly sections. Most of it is flat, nothing too challenging, up until we get to the first obstacle. Now, the first and second waterfalls are back to back, and these do present a little bit of a challenge, especially for beginners. The first waterfall has a couple different lines ranging from chill to challenging. For reference, the one that I'm going up is probably the easiest line. Over the years, this one used to be like pretty rocky, and it's just gotten, you know, less rutted out to where it's kind of a ramp now, and most four-wheel drives can drive right up it. Don't worry though, there is a little bit more of a challenging section on this obstacle. You go all the way to the right side, and you have a pretty fun line where you have to squeeze past a huge rock. And fun fact, the first time I came through this section, I actually smacked my bed on this rock.
Check the love tap. Kiss it better. Wow.
Either way, it's a fun little line, putting you off camber as you try and turn and climb up multiple steps at the same time. Obstacle 2 is a little bit more challenging. In fact, it's probably the hardest mandatory line on this trail, and there really is only two lines here. You can try going to the right, or I guess left on the screen, and you know, that way you kind of try to straddle the tree and try to avoid the big rocks. It ends up never working out. I really don't like that line, but some people take it. Regardless, I'm going to be straddling and notching the two rocks and just, hey, going straight up the obstacle. Now, the kicker of this one is that there is tree cover on this obstacle, so if there's snowing or if there's rain, sometimes there's going to be ice or a puddle of water that's going to wet your tires before you go up this obstacle, requiring you to either have big tires to where you can crawl up it, or you may have to bump it and spin some tire in order to get up this one.
Wiggle it. Keep coming and wiggle it. Your limited slip ain't slipping. The next jig clicks.
Continuing on in the trail, there's not much in terms of like crazy stuff. We got a couple switchbacks, we got some rock gardens, and this is honestly just a great time to step back, take a breath, enjoy the beautiful views of the trail, because that is one of the great things about this trail, is that it is just a nice looking trail. You get nice breaths of fresh air and beautiful trees, and sometimes you'll see wildlife. Like, it's just a nice trail, and this is like a good point to just start enjoying that a little bit. Along the way, you will find some rocks and some extracurricular lines, which, hey, you know we're going to be hitting that stuff in this video.
Move that rock out of the way. Ay, nalgazo!
Keep it, driver. Close. Right there. Carry some momentum. Yeah, see? I knew that line was there. All right, I'm gonna do some flexions on influencer rock.
One of the more popular stopping locations is this ramp of a rock, which is perfect for flexing out your suspension. I call it influencer rock because everybody and their mother will stop here so they can get an Instagram photo and, you know, go chill next to their rig or do something like that. That being said, hey, you guys know we're going to stop, we're going to flex on this bad boy, and we're going to get some photos.
That's it.
It's a 5-cylinder, man.
little driver. Go, little driver.
Good.
He's gonna do the same thing Jeremy did, though.
Yep.
Next is going to be one of the cooler spots you will find on any off-road trail, and that is the rock garden. This section is optional, although this is probably the best part of the trail, so I don't ever recommend skipping it. I've run this trail, I don't know, freaking 15, 20 times, and I rarely skip it because it is that good of a section. The rock garden itself is a field of slab rocks that look like they're from another planet. Driving through this section, the rocks move around and clatter and crack, making you feel like you're a Terminator crushing skulls. I love this section. And every time I stroll through here, I take a second to just take it all in because honestly, it's not often you get to enjoy something cool like this.
So fun fact, a lot of people skip this section of Gold Mountain. This is all the optional stuff after the rock garden, but it is some of the better crawling. You got a few obstacles, you got some hill climbs, and generally it's just rocky the entire way. I think the trail going the other way, I haven't done that in a very long time, but I think it's mostly flat until the last obstacle. And then this one meets up right before you get to the last obstacle, so it kind of all works out. So. Yeah, you know, this is just the angles we're on, you know. Like Drake says, it's all about the motherfucking angles. All right, 7 years owning this truck. I probably hit this trail, I don't know, at least 10 times. Every time I try the line to the left, I get stuck. Let's try it once again. I do that line, I get stuck. This time I've done it smooth. Fuck yeah.
Nalgazo!
Good line. You can, if you want to flex out a little. It's flat to your right, or you can go up that for some style points. Yeah, buddy. There she blows. Right at the end of this offshoot is like the perfect spot to take a quick lunch. So that's the trail, but then you got all this. Park it up right here. No tortas today?
No tortas today.
Sick ass.
Final legit obstacle on the trail. This one has changed a lot over the years. Actually, there used to be a bypass for this one, and for years I took that bypass thinking it was part of the regular trail, and I would skip the obstacle. And then a couple years ago, a tree actually fell and blocked the bypass, making the trail mandatory again, and rightfully so, because this actually is a very, very fun section. It's a little technical, the rocks move around a little bit, and it does create a challenge, but hey, some good driving, good spotting, you'll get through this one just fine. Last bits of the trail, this is just more switchbacks going down the mountain. Nothing really challenging when it's dry, but during the winter months, I can tell you, these do get a little bit sketchy, and these switchbacks being under tree coverage usually makes for some interesting conditions in the ice.
Oh! Look who it is, babe.
Once we hit the exit, we are back on Holcomb Valley Road, and we're ready to either hit some more trails or we could head back to the street. Now, the route that we are taking is actually to the right, and that's going to take us back to the street where we'll go to the Big Bear transfer station where we started our day, and this will be the perfect location for us to air up and head home. Well, there it is, Gold Mountain in all its glory. Now, if I didn't make it obvious already, I really love this trail. It offers just enough of everything that we look for in a good off-road trail. The challenges, the scenery, and the unique stops along the way. If you want to get a good taste of what rock crawling has to offer, then take a stab at this trail, because who knows, you just might love it. Now keep in mind, we're getting into spring and summertime, so these trails are going to be popping. You're going to see a ton of traffic out here, and that's all good. The trails are big, there's always plenty of space and plenty of opportunities to pass people, but just be considerate. Sometimes there's going to be beginners out there earning their stripes, challenging themselves to try something new. So lend a hand, a strap, or even a spot. It keeps us all moving forward in the hobby. And as always, clean up your trash, don't drive off the trail onto private property, and ruin it for the rest of us. I can't wait till the next time to be out here. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. As always, you can check out our other trail features. You can pick up some merch from our website, or you can even consider supporting us on Patreon so you can join runs like this. That's going to be it for this one. Thank you guys. We'll see you again next time.